Jennifer Huston, 5857 Farm, and Valerie Smrtic.
So it's kidding season here at Twin Pear Farm and at goat barns around the country. So I thought this was a really good time to talk about colostrum, what it is, and why it is so important for your baby goats. Colostrum is the very first milk that the mom produces, and it's not like other milk. It is a dark, thick, yellow consistency. One of my does, it's like toothpaste. You have to actually help her start to get it out because it is so thick. But it's also the only and most important thing that that baby needs to have straight away. So the colostrum that first comes out is of the most highest potency, and it will, as the babies drink it away over the first couple days of life, it will go into regular goat milk. But this colostrum is the magic elixir of life. So with goats, they are unlike human mammals where when we are carrying a baby, we are actually passing some immunity to the baby while they're still in utero. For goats, this is not true. They are actually only receive that initial immunity from their mom's colostrum. They are a blank slate and therefore very susceptible to illness. Of course, there are wonderful nutrients in that colostrum as well. So it is absolutely critical that those babies get that colostrum straight away. You want colostrum in your baby goats within 1 hour of birth, but there is a catch to that. They need to have their body up to temperature. Sometimes you will have a kid who is born just naturally below temperature, depending on the situation, or maybe mom kidded outside before she was due, and that kid has a low body temp. They cannot suckle and they cannot digest the food. So even if you were to get that colostrum in them, if their body can't digest it, it's going nowhere. So you need to make sure before the kid has that colostrum that their body temp is at least 100 degrees. 101 to 102 Fahrenheit is perfect, but at least 100 degrees. And you'll see if you have a cold kid, they will actually almost come to life as soon as you get their body up to temperature. We will be doing another tutorial, look for it, on how to warm a cold kid. So with that colostrum, now you're wondering, okay, well, how much do they need to get? The rule of thumb is 1 ounce per pound of body weight in the first 24 hours. If you have your goats on mom and you are not bottle feeding, you won't be able to know exactly how much they're getting. However, you can pick up your baby goat and feel the belly of the goat over, maybe their first 6, 12, 24 hours, and make sure you can actually feel food in there. If you can kind of press your hands all the way in and it feels loosey-goosey, that kid's probably not getting enough to eat. Maybe they have a couple siblings who are getting the lion's share. So what you need to do before your first kids come is make sure that you have some backup colostrum. This is a little bit hard if these are your first goats to ever kid. In that case, talk to other people in your local goat community and see if they have some frozen colostrum they can hand to you. Now, when you have your first goat kid at your farm, or in your second and your third, see if you can milk a little bit of colostrum off of the doe. Now what you want to do is you want to save that colostrum for when you might need it in the future. This might be the answer between a kid living and a kid dying. Even only having a little bit, a couple ounces of it, could really make all of the difference. But as I mentioned, not all colostrum is created equal. That first colostrum is your most potent and best, and then you have that older colostrum after your baby is 12 hours old and 24 hours old. So you're going to want to collect it and store it in the freezer, and it has been shown to keep the same potency for up to 5 years in your freezer. What a great investment you can make. See if you can steal a little bit from every doe that kids from you this season. I have not yet gone through a season where I have not had to tap into my previous year's supply to help a kid in need. So one of the things I mentioned was that colostrum needs to be clean and free of bacteria. So the first step in doing that is making sure that when mom gives birth, she's in a nice, clean, dry pen with clean straw. Even if you have a dirt floor barn where they're protected from the elements, put down some clean bedding at the bottom so that that baby's mouth, when they come out, is not getting a mouthful of dirt. The other thing, and I didn't used to be as good about doing this, is try to help dry off and clean up mom's udder a little bit before you put the kid on. Now, I'm assuming that you have a doe who is CAE negative. That's caprine encephalitis. That means that we don't have to worry that that mom might be passing that CAE on to her nursing kids. So if you are worried about that and you do want to make sure that that colostrum is very safe and very clean, you want to heat treat it. You can heat treat colostrum for up to 135 degrees for 1 hour. So you need to bring it up to temp and hold it at that temp for 1 hour. So if you are using another doe's colostrum to feed a baby, maybe the next year, make sure that is a healthy and clean colostrum and it's just disease-free that you are passing on to those kids. One other interesting thing I recently learned was that colostrum contains vitamin A, D, and E, and in our bucklings and in our wethers, if they do not get this, they actually are more prone to get urinary calculi later on. So yet another vote for why colostrum is so important. So just to review, colostrum is needed within the first hour of life. It should be the very first thing to go into the kid's stomach, but make sure that your kid is up to temperature and can digest it. Try to keep that colostrum clean and free of bacteria. And even when you have a healthy kidding, see if you can grab a little bit of colostrum from mom right after she kids. And then you're going to want to store it in the freezer. And you can label it in a bag and say which doe it was, when it was collected, and at how many hours post-birth it was collected. I wish you happy, healthy kidding. Colostrum is liquid gold. If you don't have some already, see if you can get some, and then get some more when you're doe kids.